The pharaoh who disappeared, Smenkhkare's lost reign, mystery of Akhenaten's successor. In the grand history of ancient Egypt, pharaohs left behind temples, statues, and monuments that told their stories. But there was one ruler whose reign remains shrouded in mystery. A pharaoh who all but vanished from history. His name was Smenkhkare. Successor to the heretic king Akhenaten, Smenkhkare appeared suddenly, ruled briefly, and then disappeared without explanation. Was he Akhenaten's brother? His son? Or perhaps even Nefertiti herself under another name? This is the story of Egypt's most mysterious ruler, the pharaoh who disappeared. Chapter 1, The Turmoil of Amarna. The story of Smenkhkare begins in one of the most turbulent chapters of ancient Egypt, the Amarna period. For over 1,000 years, the Egyptians had worshipped a vast pantheon of gods, Amun, Ra, Osiris, Isis, and many more. Temples stood tall across the Nile, priests wielded immense power, and tradition anchored every part of daily life. But then came Pharaoh Akhenaten, the so-called heretic king. Akhenaten shattered centuries of belief by declaring that there was only one god worth worshipping, the Aten, the radiant sun disk. He closed temples, stripped the powerful Amun priesthood of its wealth, and ordered the chiseling away of the gods' names from monuments. The capital was moved from Thebes to a brand new city carved out of the desert, Akhenaten, today known as Amarna. It was to be the shining seat of Aten's worship, built almost overnight. For the traditionalists, this was a nightmare. The religious order was humiliated, old rituals forbidden, and the people forced to adopt new practices. Foreign policy weakened as Akhenaten obsessed over his god, ignoring the empire's enemies. Letters from desperate governors on Egypt's borders begged for aid, but their pleas went unanswered. By the time Akhenaten's health began to fail, Egypt was a kingdom on the edge. The gods of old were silenced. The priesthood was stripped of power. The empire was losing influence abroad. And into this chaos, into this void of uncertainty, stepped Smenkhkare, a mysterious figure whose sudden appearance only deepened the confusion. Chapter 2, Who was Smenkhkare? Smenkhkare is one of the most puzzling figures in all of Egyptian history. Unlike powerful rulers, such as Hatshepsut or Ramesses II, his identity remains a mystery. Even his very existence has been questioned at times. He appears suddenly, in the late years of Akhenaten's reign, and then vanishes almost as quickly as he arrived. But who was he? Theory 1. The younger brother. Some scholars suggest that Smenkhkare was Akhenaten's younger brother. This would make sense, royal blood often dictated succession, and a brother could have stepped in during a time of crisis. However, there is very little evidence in the records to support this. No inscriptions call him son of Amenhotep III or brother of Akhenaten. Theory 2, the son-in-law. Another leading theory is that Smenkhkare was a royal son-in-law, married to Akhenaten's daughter, Meritaten. In fact, some inscriptions even refer to Meritaten as great royal wife of Smenkhkare, which suggests he may have been brought into the family to secure the throne. If this is true, Smenkhkare may have been a figurehead king chosen to stabilize the dynasty. Theory 3, Nefertiti in disguise. Perhaps the most dramatic theory is that Smenkhkare wasn't a man at all, but Nefertiti herself. After Akhenaten's death, Nefertiti may have assumed the throne under a new name to protect her family, and carry on the rule of the Aten. This theory is supported by some artwork showing a ruler with both masculine and feminine features, and the fact that Nefertiti disappears from records around the same time Smenkhkare appears. Could they be one and the same? Theory 4, a son of Akhenaten. There is also speculation that Smenkhkare was the eldest son of Akhenaten, making him the brother, or half-brother, of the boy who would later become Tutankhamun. DNA evidence from mummies discovered in the Valley of the Kings suggests a close family link, though the exact relationship remains debated. The evidence we have what makes Smenkhkare so difficult to place is the sheer lack of material evidence. His name appears only on a few inscriptions and rings. A handful of reliefs show him alongside Akhenaten, wearing the double crown. No monuments or grand statues exist to proclaim his reign. His tomb has never been identified with certainty. It's as if history itself tried to erase him. Chapter 3, The Short Reign. If Smenkhkare truly existed as a distinct ruler, his time on the throne was among the briefest in Egyptian history. Some scholars believe he ruled for as little as 3 months, while others suggest perhaps a year or 2. Either way, his reign was a mere flicker in the long history of the pharaohs. Co-regent with Akhenaten, evidence hints that Smenkhkare may not have ruled alone at first. A few wall paintings and inscriptions from Amarna depict a royal figure, wearing the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, standing beside Akhenaten. This has led many to believe Smenkhkare was made co-regent, a partner in power during Akhenaten's final years. This would have made sense. Akhenaten, perhaps in failing health, may have chosen to elevate Smenkhkare to ensure continuity, especially with Egypt in crisis. By sharing power, Akhenaten could attempt to strengthen his fragile dynasty. Signs of change. If Smenkhkare did rule independently, even for a short while, some clues suggest he may have begun reversing Akhenaten's radical reforms. Certain inscriptions show him wearing traditional regalia more in line with Egypt's old ways, unlike Akhenaten's unusual androgynous depictions. It's possible Smenkhkare tried to walk a careful line, upholding Atenism while also reintroducing the traditional gods to soothe unrest. Unfortunately, the record is too fragmented to be sure. The fleeting pharaoh. Unlike other pharaohs, Smenkhkare left no grand temples, no colossal statues, and no lengthy inscriptions boasting of military victories or monumental achievements. His reign seems to have been administrative at best, perhaps too short to leave a legacy. To Egypt's people, he may have been little more than a name, quickly replaced by another ruler. To us today, he is an almost invisible figure, a shadow between the reign of Akhenaten and the rise of the boy king, Tutankhamun. His reign ended as suddenly as it began. And soon, his very name would fade into silence. Chapter 4, The Disappearance. After a reign that may have lasted no more than a heartbeat, Smenkhkare vanishes from history. No chronicles describe his end. No triumphal inscriptions announce his burial. He simply disappears. But why? Theory 1. Death by illness or weak health. One explanation is that Smenkhkare died suddenly, perhaps from illness. The Amarna royal family is known to have suffered from genetic disorders, possibly due to centuries of inbreeding. Mummies thought to belong to the Amarna line show signs of bone disease and malformations. It's possible Smenkhkare was frail and succumbed quickly, leaving no time for his reign to flourish. Theory 2. Political erasure. Another possibility is deliberate erasure. After Akhenaten's death, Egypt's elites and the powerful priesthood of Amun worked tirelessly to restore the old gods and erase the heresy of Atonism. If Smenkhkare was seen as continuing Akhenaten's policies, his memory may have been purposefully wiped from history. His monuments could have been destroyed, his name chiseled away, his tomb desecrated. This would explain why we have so little evidence of his existence. Theory 3. Nefertiti's transformation. If Smenkhkare was in fact Nefertiti ruling under another name, then his disappearance might simply mark her transition to another identity, or her death. In this scenario, Smenkhkare was never truly erased, but merged into the larger mystery of Amarna's royal family. Theory 4. A victim of palace intrigue. There's also the chance that Smenkhkare fell victim to court politics. Egypt at the time was unstable, foreign enemies were pressing at its borders, religious factions were clashing, and rival heirs vied for the throne. In such an environment, a weak or unpopular ruler could be removed quietly, his memory deliberately forgotten. The silence of history. Whatever the truth, Smenkkare's end remains one of the greatest enigmas of ancient Egypt. Pharaohs were meant to be eternal, carved into stone, remembered in rituals, and immortalized in monuments. Yet Smenkhkare left almost nothing. No great temple. No statue. No tomb that can be unquestionably called his. His disappearance is not just the story of a man, it is the story of how history itself can choose to forget. Chapter 5, Theories and Tombs. If Smenkhkare ruled as Pharaoh, then like every king of Egypt, he should have been laid to rest in a tomb worthy of his status. Yet, no such tomb has ever been confirmed. This absence has driven decades of speculation and discovery. KV 55, the mysterious tomb. In 1907, archaeologists uncovered a small, undecorated tomb in the Valley of the Kings known as KV 55. Inside, they found a desecrated coffin and badly damaged remains. The coffin appeared to have been repurposed, its original inscriptions altered. Some of the items bore the names of Akhenaten, Tia, and other members of the Amarna family. The mummy was so poorly preserved that identifying it proved nearly impossible. Was it Akhenaten himself, hastily reburied after the Amarna period ended? Or was it Smenkhkare? The DNA evidence. Modern science has brought new insights. In 2010, DNA analysis of the KV-55 mummy revealed it was the father of Tutankhamun and the son of Amenhotep III. That rules out Nefertiti but leaves two main candidates, Akhenaten or Smenkhkare. If the remains are Akhenaten, then Smenkkare's tomb is still lost. If the remains are Smenkhkare, then we may already have his mummy, but robbed of the identity and honors due to a pharaoh. The missing burial. Other Egyptologists suggest that Smenkhkare never received a full royal burial. If he died suddenly, perhaps during a time of political chaos, his body may have been placed in a temporary tomb or buried in Amarna, only to be later moved or destroyed when the city was abandoned. There is also the possibility that his burial was intentionally erased, like his name, as part of the campaign to restore Egypt to its old gods. In this case, Smenkkare's eternal resting place may never be found. The ongoing hunt. Even today, archaeologists continue to search the Valley of the Kings and Amarna for lost tombs. Every new discovery, fragments of inscriptions, DNA clues, or hidden chambers, rekindles the question, where is Smenkhkare? Until his tomb is found, his identity will remain uncertain. Was he Akhenaten's brother, son, or even Nefertiti? Was the KV-55 mummy his, or is his body still waiting beneath the sands of Egypt? The mystery of his burial is the final chapter in the story of a pharaoh who disappeared. Chapter 6 Legacy and Mystery. Smenkhkare remains one of the most enigmatic figures in ancient Egyptian history. Unlike mighty Ramesses or the beloved Tutankhamun, he left behind little more than fragments, carvings, inscriptions, and unanswered questions. Yet, his brief reign connects two of the most dramatic rulers of Egypt's past, Akhenaten, the heretic king, and Tutankhamun, the boy pharaoh who restored tradition. Without Smenkhkare, the story of Egypt's Amarna period is incomplete. His disappearance is a reminder that even in a civilization built on eternal monuments, history can vanish in the blink of an eye. What do you think happened to Smenkhkare? Was he Akhenaten's brother, son-in-law, or even Nefertiti in disguise? Or was he deliberately erased from history to restore Egypt's old gods? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed unraveling this mystery of ancient Egypt, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories of pharaohs, gods, and forgotten wonders. Egypt has many secrets, and we're just beginning to uncover them.